Hi everyone, it's me, Beatty Kelly Sunflower. So I thought I'd hop on today and do a flip through and first impressions of this tarot deck that arrived yesterday. So this deck is called the Fifth Spirit Tarot by Charlie Claire Burgess, and it's a 78 card deck and guidebook. So it's a Hay House published deck. Let's have a look at the back of the box. Tarot Beyond Binaries. The tarot thrives in liminality and nuance. The more we work with tarot, the more we realise that everything is fluid. Gender, meaning even time. We're all creatures of the earth, air, fire and water, bound together by the fifth element, spirit. This deck expands notions of gender through the juxtaposition of tradition, titles, and queered imagery. It encourages you to queer your practice by listening to your intuition, your personal symbolism, and your own lived wisdom. Now that's queer. So let's open it up. So it comes in a two-part box, which did have cellophane on it when it arrived. Have a look at the inside of the box. May this deck guide you to your truth, for where you find your truth, you find your power. Isn't that nice? And it comes with a guidebook, cards, and the inside of the box says, a queer plus inclusive deck for a world beyond binaries. Okay, so before we look at the cards, let's have a look at the guidebook. Fifth Spirit Tarot, Charlie Claire Burgess. This guidebook. Fifth Spirit is dedicated to queers, the outsiders, the survivors, and everyone making magic from the margins. So it's got a clear content page. It's got an introduction, a note on gender and inclusivity, reversals, querying that your tarot practice, tarot spreads, the cards, the major arcana, the minor arcana, the wands, the cups, the swords, the pentacles, acknowledgements, and about the creator. I'll read some of the introduction for you. Tarot is best known as an arcane way to predict the future, but it's so much more than just a fortune teller's trick. Tarot helps us tap into our forgotten intuition and navigate trials and unknowns and gain clarity on decisions. It can be a tool for grounding, introspection, perspective, and awareness. With tarot, we can dig into the past, make sense of the present, and chart our course for the future. In short, tarot isn't about telling the future, it's about creating it. When I first designed this deck, I had been publicly out as non-binary for about a year. Tarot has played an important role in figuring out my queerness. Nearly every deck I owned, and I own a lot, was filled with straight, cis, white, thin, young, able-bodied, and conventionally beautiful people. Most card interpretations I read were regimented, the same tired patriarchal values. I found myself having to look past the card imagery and reinterpret it in my head. I started imagining card meanings that didn't reinforce these oppressive norms and systems, and card illustrations that could welcome and affirm people like me. I wasn't planning to make a deck simply because I didn't think I could. I wasn't an artist. I didn't think I can draw. Then, on an Aquarius new moon, for no particular reason, I picked up my ancient iPad and doodled an Ace of Cups. A little over a year, I finished the deck you hold in your hands. a queer and inclusive tarot for a world beyond binaries. My dearest hope is that this deck becomes a tool for your own personal resolution, a portal to your deepest inner knowing, and a support as you forge your unique path. May the tarot guide you to your truth as it did me to mine. Where you find your truth, you'll find your power. And with that, we can create better, queerer, freer, and more loving futures together. And then there's a note on gender inclusivity. So the pages there's reversals. And the creators are pinning on reversals. Let me read reversal, because I do actually read reversals. Some people love them, some hate them, and some are indifferent. I am the latter. I tend to play it fast and loose with reversals, letting the reading itself inform me how to read the cards. As such, I don't provide separate upright and reversed meanings here. I do offer various ways the cards can manifest, but these don't necessarily follow a positive stroke negative duality. I don't believe that any cards are essentially good or bad. Not that upright and reversed cards are good or bad. That's just more binary thinking, isn't it? The tarot thrives in liminality, complexity, and nuance. In readings, look for clues in spreads and positions and the surrounding cards, and above all, listen to yourself. So it talks about queering your tarot practice. So queer your language. It's got scrap masculine, feminine duality. Think beyond binary. Forget the shoulds. Don't assume. Throw out the guidebook. I actually like to keep my guidebook because I like to hear what the author's got to say. So I think that's just a personal choice. Tarot spreads. So there's Beyond Binary spread, which is a 6-card spread. Everyone's a Little Queer spread, which is 5 cards. 5 Spirit spread, which is another 5-card spread. Then it goes into the cards. So it talks about the major arcana, just a little blurb there. The minor arcana. And then each suit. So, for example, the wands, the suit of the energetic realm. The wands describe our passions, ambitions, and creativity. They tell the story of a career, purpose, inspiration, and individuality. Wands correspond to fire, which brings light and warmth, but also can be destructive. So the suit also deals with getting burned and burning out. Okay, and then it goes into the major arcana, and there's no pictures on this guidebook. I do like a pictorial guidebook, that's just my own preference. So it's just got writing, and as the creator said, there's no reversed meanings. So it does that for each of the major arcana. Now if I go into the suit of wands, it does the same thing. So I just think it just gives you information about each card within the suit or arcana, and no pictorial references or information. So after it describes the cards, it just gives you a note about the author, and I'll read this out to you. Charlie Claire Burgess, they, them, is a queer and trans non-binary tarot practitioner, writer, artist, and a deck creator. Charlie is the host of the World's Witch podcast and teaches tarot workshops online and in Portland, Oregon, where they live with their spouse Aaron and a staggering number of houseplants and fantasy novels. This is Charlie's first deck, and they're currently working on 2 more. Follow along at theworldwitch.com. And this guidebook is 121 pages. Okay, so let's move on to the deck. So this deck did come, bound together with this, but I took it off. Let's measure the cards for size. So if I compare this card to my Abono weight, which is a regular RWS size. You can see that it's exactly the same size as a US Games RWS deck or card. The cardstock is kind of like matte and almost cardboardish. It kind of reminds me of the Lightseers Tarot, the Hay House mass-produced version in terms of texture. As you can see, it's quite thick, and it's not gilded or edged in any way, but it's a very thick deck, which I like thick decks because I'm an overhand shuffler. Okay, so let's have a look at the cards. So you've got the Fool. This person who looks like masculine is kind of walking over the cliff, and I like the fact that the dog in this particular deck or card is in the backpack, being ignored. You've got the Magician, and I love the fact that this person looks kind of middle-aged, you know, concocting or experimenting there with all their business plans. There's the, if you look there, there's the affinity symbol, just gorgeous. The High Priestess, I like the fact that, again, that she's, well, it looks like a she. It's got like a mature kind of face, kind of full-figured. You know, so you get the pillars, the black and white pillars. You've got the pomegranates, and you've got the crescent moon there. And I guess this is locked knowledge or hidden knowledge in that little chest there. And who's got that key to open that? The Empress, very masculine looking Empress. You know, it's got the Adam's apple and stuff there. The Emperor, I love this masculine face. You can see the horns coming out there and kind of breasts and stuff. Gorgeous. This is the Hierophant. You can see the keys there and the books. I love this Lover's card. Beautiful. Very masculine energy to me. Chariot. I love the fact that there's black and white skates instead of black and white Sphinx. Kind of a modern look, and again quite a middle-aged kind of face. Again, I love the Adam's apple and stuff there. Oh, strength. So instead of the, you know, traditional lion, we've got the dog here, which I quite like. And again, full-figured, middle-aged. Love it. Affinity on the head. This is an older kind of person, the Hermit. Going off to contemplate, to think, to reflect. I love that. This is an interesting Wheel of Fortune. I love that the person's kind of blindfolded. So, you know, you're unaware of the next stage in life or the next fate in life. It's really nice. And it looks like it's got the 4 seasons there as well. Interesting. Justice, House of Law. Love the curvy figure. This person looks like a no-nonsense. Oh, what an interesting hang one. They seem to be bound. That's interesting. See, I see this card as like taking a pause or taking time out to reflect, or kind of seeing 2 sides to an argument, and I'm not understanding why this person's kind of bound like that. I'll have to read what it says in the guidebook for that. Oh, I love this death card. So it's like rebirth of several generations. I love that. Temperance. And can you see they're mixing, if you can see, like that looks like they're mixing fire and water, and that looks like steam down here, because, you know, fire and water to me makes steam. So trying to find that even mix. The Devil looks like, you know, it's got the devil symbol there, and puppets being controlled in string, sort of chained. The Tower. Oh, interesting. So this is a really out of control fire. Again, the star, I love the fact that this is a middle-aged person. Look at the body shape, you know, embracing all the curves. I have noticed, though, that a lot of the archetypes have masculine legs. I don't know, I've got a thing about legs. So this is the moon. It's different to most traditional moon cards. The sun, which is one of my favourite cards. Again, this is two adults enjoying a picnic. Normally it's a child or a younger person on a horse. Lovely judgment card. And the world, again, a nice fuller figured person with masculine legs. So the suit of wands, got the ace of wands, like a lighter. Look at those nails, nicely manicured. Two of wands. The minor arcana so far looks a bit well, not pippish, but it's kind of scenic pips. There's no people. Three of wands, you know, waiting for your ship or your balloon to land. Four of wands, you know, that looks like a nice homely environment. No people again. See, this is an interesting five of wands because it can be conflict or teamwork. That's how I'm looking at it. Interesting. The six of wands. It's just very similar to the RWS with the reef, but there's no person on the horse. But if you look at that, you can see that that looks like a top part. The six of wands. Seven. That's an interesting depiction, like fireworks. That's interesting. Oh, look at that. That's a really deep fire. Which will probably be a burden to get that, to take that fire out. The page looks quite mature. Well, for how I see pages, because I always see pages as younger people or younger energy. Okay, look at those legs. Queen of Wands. 9 lives. Which reminds me of a cat, because I always say that cats have 9 lives, and this is a, you know, like, just on show there. The legs. And the King of Wands. So moving on to the suit of cups. You got the Ace of Cups. Overspin, again, lovely manicured nails. Two of Cups. Three of Cups. Just like no people. Interesting. Five. I wouldn't recommend this deck for a beginner, but I guess if you know the Rider-Waite-Smith system, you would understand what these symbols mean. But if you're just learning out, I think this deck might be a challenge. That's just my own personal opinion. Look at the Seven of Cups, all those choices up there on display for you to choose. I like this Eight of Cups. So the person's opened the door and walked out to the sunset. This is person displaying their trophies. Ten of Cups. I love the fact that this person's, you know, that they're embracing disability in this card, or ability. Again, the legs. Again, an older, more mature person, and the King of Cups. Moving on to the Suit of Swords. which is one of my favourite suits. You've got the Ace, Two of Swords. Oh, look at the heart, and they've got like the needle and cotton trying to mend that broken heart. I love that depiction. Four of Swords, just taking a rest. There. Look at that, moving away from the stormy waters. She's taking things and putting them in her nest. Good. I like this depiction because then you can always cut away that trauma or cut away those negative thoughts. They're just in your mind. They can be cut away and dealt with. I like that depiction. Oh, look at that. Some really sharp instruments. That's like the Nightmare card. Page, that's like the Student. Oh, look at this Knight on a bike. But you can see by here that it's fast speeding, the way that the hair's gone up, that it's fast speeding. Again, another mature queen, kind of sitting in a masculine pose there. And she looks like, don't mess with me. And the King of Swords. So moving on to the Suit of Pentacles. Got the Ace. Look at that balance. Isn't that a nice balance? And you've got the Affinity there as well. You know, there's tools there, so it looks like it's like apprenticeship or learning something. Look at that, digging your money underground. Interesting. Or not digging, planting your money away, hiding your money underground, I should say. This has got a really cold feeling, so, you know, out in the cold kind of thing. Donations, I like that. Hospitality, charitable causes. Seven of Pentacles, peas. That's about growth and stuff. Perfecting your skill. Look at that generous dinner. This person's got nice comfortable food or comfort food. And 10 of Pentacles. Then you've got the Page. Again, look at those legs. Oh, I like this. Knight of Pentacles. Amputee. Again, mature. Queen. Looks very masculine in appearance. And King. Beautiful. This is a very interesting deck. Let me see how these cards shuffle. Can you hear that click, click, click? Because they're kind of cardboardish. But I like cardboardish kind of cards. This is okay for an overhand shuffler like me to shuffle. But I don't know how a riffle hand shuffler would find. Oh, that mind you, they're quite flexible as well. So I guess a riffle hand shuffler could also shuffle these cards. But look, they've got the bend in it once you do it that way. This deck is more for the overhand shuffler. But that's just my own opinion. So what do I think about this deck? I love it. It's very interesting. I love how, apart from the courts, I love how the minors don't have people. And look at this Queen of Wands, which is what I associate with being a Leo. But instead of having no cat, but then it's kind of mentioned here, 9 lives, which, you know, associates with cats. To me, it's got a very masculine energy to it, though, because a lot of the faces on the archetypes and the legs, to me, are masculine. A lot of the archetypes have Adam's apples and stuff like that. So I think it is more, in my opinion, a masculine deck. I don't see anything feminine at all in this deck, but that's just my own personal opinion. I love the fact that there's a lot of middle-aged people, because I love to see my generation in decks. Most modern decks tend to be younger people, so I like that. That's embrace. Look at the lovely nails. I love how there's manicured nails here. I love how in the minor arcanas, they're kind of semi-pippish, but there's enough there for you to know what the cards mean if you're a pictorial reader and you don't use numerology as part of your practice. So to me, I would say this deck is Rider-Waite-Smith inspired. That's my favourite Eight of Swords of all time. But I don't know if a beginner person would be able to read this deck. That's just my own personal opinion. But I think if you're a seasoned reader, this deck would be quite easy to read with. And also, I think this deck's also good for a person that wants to learn pips. Because, as I said before, the minors to me are semi-pippish. So it's just a beautiful deck. I love how it incorporates age, race, you know, I don't know, non-binary kind of people, and ability, because there's a couple of people in wheelchairs and people with prosthetic legs. But it's more of a mature deck, and that's what I like. Beautiful, beautiful deck. I can't wait to start using it. I'm probably going to read the guidebook and stuff. Look at that beautiful Four of Pentacles. But I'll probably start working with this deck in the new year, maybe for the month of January. But it's a beautiful, beautiful deck, and I can't wait to start working with it. I will add the links to this deck in the description bar, should anybody be interested. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.